Bendiciones. Hello, everyone. That's right. Subscribe to Cafecito Break. Tell La Familia that we are here presente, here with the New York Freedom Fighters. Co-hosting this space with me today is Kozi at Kozi's Wellness, Mark at Mark for NY, and you can follow yours truly, Rosangel Pérez, one of the Pérez sisters, host of Cafecito Break at Cafecito Break on social media platforms. Tonight, our special guest is Janine Acquafredda, who is running for Brooklyn Borough President. And before I introduce our cute, adorable little faces, please, if you're tuning in, help us warm up the feed, share, like, comment, tell a friend, bring a friend. We're ready? Let's do it. All right. And, before we started, we had 3. And now we have 4. Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Sound check, sound check.
We hear you loud and clear.
All right. So, hello, welcome, Janine, and welcome, Mark. Mark, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So I'll pass it on to you if you can introduce yourself, and then pass it on to Kozi, and then Kozi can introduce our special guest tonight, who is Janine Acquafredda, running for Brooklyn Borough President. Common sense choice candidates here this season in New York. Mark?
Hello, fellow freedom-loving Americans. Mark for NY here. Ran for State Assembly, City Council, U.S. Senate in New York. Just try to stay involved in politics, help other candidates, and keep people motivated to stop the communism from happening in New York. I'll keep my introduction brief, and I'll pass it on to fellow freedom fighter Kozi at Kozi's Wellness.
What's going on, everybody? Kozi from Kozi's Wellness. I'm a former healthcare worker that was fired for refusing the COVID shot. I've been in a medical freedom fight for almost 2 decades now, fighting for our rights to say no to things we don't want to put in our body. So I've been doing whatever I can to spread that message. Enough about me. Today we have a very special guest, and I'm excited to bring her on. She is running for Brooklyn Borough President, Janine Acquafredda. I don't know, you're going to correct me. Acquafredda, I'm sorry. And tell us about yourself.
Acquafredda is right. And that's not the worst that I've been called. So that's fine. Acquafredda, whatever. I am running for Brooklyn Borough President. I'll call myself a freedom saver, because we still have a little bit of freedom left, like that much. But we're losing it very quickly in every arena of life, and it's really scary. And I am, I guess, running for many, many reasons, but ultimately it's because I feel like nobody's working for me. And I think that it's important that somebody represents the real people of New York City, like the working people, the neglected and forgotten people, and reluctantly doing politics, if you will.
Yeah, just what made you want to run for Brooklyn Borough President? Like what like pushed you to say, you know what, that's it, I'm getting in the ring?
I was asked for many, many years to run for office. And I was a no, like, don't even look at me, ask me again, like, no, this is not my thing. I'm not a political person. I'm not combative, I'm not confrontational. But little by little, I was, we're talking about freedom, right? Little by little, freedoms were being taken away from me. They tried to shut my business down twice in 5 years. Obviously, the vaccine thing was a big thing for me as well, even though I wasn't mandated to take it. If I wanted to live any sort of a life, I was forced to take it, which I ultimately did. But, I was just waking up every day and complaining about everything. And I got to the point where, complaining was just not doing anything for me. So why just keep, being negative and complaining? Might as well do something. So I was asked at a time where I was ready, personally and professionally, to take it on. I knew it would be a big deal. I don't think I realized how much of a big deal it's become. But at the end of the day, what made me say I'm running was them trying to shut my business down and feeling like I was being penalized for doing all the right things.
Rose Angel? Oh, Mark?
Yeah, what made you? I mean, there's the city council elections, there's public advocate, there's all numerous elections. What made you choose the borough president, and what makes you the best candidate?
So I was asked to run for city council, and I said no. I don't want. I'm not like a legislator. Like, to me, I didn't feel like really telling people like what to do, in a sense, right? Like, this is the law. Like, that's just it didn't seem like the right fit for me, for my personality, for the type of person that I am. So I jokingly said, if I'm going to put my entire life on hold and my business and put myself out there, then I want to run for mayor. Like, nothing else seemed to be worth it to me. I know you're laughing. That's the reaction I got. They're like, Janine, you're wild. Like, you'll never. That's like just a ridiculous thought. And then somebody said, "What about borough president?" And I immediately said no, because I still thought Marty Markowitz was our borough president, and I love Marty Markowitz. I said, "No, I don't want to go against Marty." And then I realized Marty wasn't our borough president. I realized I had no idea who our borough president was, and I said, "All right, you know what? It seems more like it seems like a better fit for my personality." And you asked, why would I be a good borough president? It's very ceremonial. I love to have a good time. I love to celebrate things and people and life and culture and Brooklyn. I'm Brooklyn's biggest fan. Everybody always used to say I'm Brooklyn's biggest cheerleader. I adore this borough. I love so many things about it. Things have changed a little bit over the years, but I think it suits my personality very well. And a big part of the role is land use and development. And my background is in real estate and development, almost 20 years in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I met Marty Markowitz at a Brooklyn Cyclones game in the Skybox when he was almost term limited out, but he's been going for a while. It was actually Eric Adams after him, and then
I had no idea.
But
I had
either
no
way,
idea.
yeah, but
I live in the area where Marty lives, so I still see him all the time, and he just walks around like he's still the borough president, handing pins to people and like acting like he's still the borough president. And to be honest, I wasn't a very political person. It's something that I didn't really care to get involved. I didn't realize the cost, the price of not getting involved. But I was just very busy trying to stay afloat and keep my business going and pay my bills, So I wasn't politically inclined or active at all. Civically active, yes. I would do a lot of charities and sponsor things and do whatever I could for the community. But I didn't pay attention to politics at all.
yeah, the majority of people in New York know who the president is, who the mayor is, and that's it. So when I'm not holding that against you. So
Yeah.
it's actually pretty common, and we don't have the voter turnout is actually very low. So, but hopefully that changes in the future. But
Well, now I know too much. Now I know too much. I wish I didn't know as much as I know, to be honest.
Yeah. But you're out there fighting the good fight, and I'll pass it to Rose Angel, who hasn't asked the question yet.
The gentlemen can feel, Janine, when I'm itching for a question. I wanted to share that I don't think that it's too much to say, even when you said, well, I'll run for mayor, or when then you decided for Brooklyn Borough president. Because first, we need common sense people. We need people who are professional. We need people who are visionaries. We need people who know Brooklyn. We know people who are native. We need people who know about small business. We need people who know a little bit about budgeting. We need people who have that edge too, and are not afraid of speaking. And since you announced this, I was aware that you were running and you announced, and I've seen how you are moving. There's no doubt in my mind that this is something you're taking very seriously, and I completely wish you the best of success, because I know that you can be successful at anything that you set your mindset to, and you're already demonstrating it by how you're running your campaign. So congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. It's definitely, I have a learning curve, But as anything else in my life, I was not knowledgeable or experienced or even ready for half of the things that I've done in my life. And so I'm glad I didn't try to run for mayor. I think running for borough president is a pretty big deal. It would have been much easier to run for city council, but I think this was the right choice. I really, really do.
And also too, I appreciate the having the understanding of real estate, which is, where I come in from. My community activism experience is niched in the affordable housing, right? So at one point, I was one of those community members convinced that this lottery system was working, and for some people it has, but I got chewed out by too many New Yorkers who were seeing, for example, that other people were able to move into certain other buildings and there were less checks and balances. And it seemed like for them to even be considered to be a part of this lottery system seemed like they had to climb a mountain, prove so much. And at the same time, it's not fair that depending on where you live, the territory extends to some very wealthy places that gets sort of like the summation of how that the when people are like, how is this affordable housing? How is this rent for a studio? And part of it is because the math is not just the math of the local neighborhood. It extends a little further. And having that insight, that vantage point, I learned a couple of things. I learned that having partners at the HPD was tricky, and that people weren't moving fast enough. We learned through my boss at that time that he needed to stay on top of what they promised, because all of a sudden they would do a quiet rollout, and the community that was supposed to be, considered were all of a sudden, oops, we released it. What a mistake that was, an oversight. And then, when you keep seeing this become a trend in New York City politics, for example, everyone just has like a little oversight, like, a different subject for another day. But a lot of New Yorkers are still wondering what happened to that money when de Blasio was around, right? That Thrive NYC money, if I'm not mistaken, was. So this is what I mean. I'm excited when I meet candidates like yourself. What have you been hearing from people when you're coming across Brooklynites? What are they saying to you? Are there frustrations? Are they feeling like their needs are being met? What is the temperature that you're getting from the folks in the street?
So I am not surprised at what I'm hearing, because what I'm hearing from people are my frustrations, that every decision that's being made hurts us. Every policy that's being pushed makes life more expensive, harder, more confusing, impossible, stressful. None of these bills that are on the table, none of these policies that are being pushed, none of these laws that are being passed help us in any way. They're not. All these buildings that are going up, it's not making housing any more affordable. So who are these politicians really working for? They are working against our best interest. And this is the part that I wish I didn't know, because I like to believe that people are good by nature and that people get into these roles to help. But what I'm seeing is, quite frankly, disgusting. It's like and maybe I'm just naive, but like they seem to be working in their best interests, and they seem to be backed by people who want you to think that they're working for your best interest, like all of the political action committees, all the lobbyists, all the NGOs. It's like they want to present themselves as entities that are here to help the people be healthier, happier, a better environment, more affordable this, more affordable that, taking care of the underserved, et cetera, et cetera. And at the end of the day, I really believe it's all about money.
Well, what's interesting is that, like yourself, when you said in the beginning, you were like, I was trying to just live my business. And some people who are trying to discourage me from even covering politics, because believe me, I get into struggle sessions, I feel like every other day. And it's regarding, for me, it's like, no, I had my little business. Maybe I wasn't running it successfully, but it was still open. And it was still open year up until, let's say, I don't remember, like we closed shy of 9 years of being open for 9 years. And what closed us? COVID, because we were non-essential. So yeah, I have a bone to pick with these folks.
They shut me down. I'm in real estate. They shut me down during COVID. Now, just to give you a little background, I've been working since I'm 6 years old, really. I mean, I was born into a very poor family, very poor situation. So I've had to hustle my entire life. And when they shut me down during COVID, I almost had to file bankruptcy. And I was saying to myself, there's no way that I've been busting my butt since I'm a child, literally, to get out of the projects, to make something of myself, for this government to shut me down. And for them to say that housing is not essential. I remember when Cuomo said, you can't sell real estate, but you can go get a job at Costco. And I'm saying, when I sell real estate, maybe I see 10 people a day. I go work at Costco, I'm going to be in contact with tens of thousands of people a week. So it made no sense to me. And this is not the first time that I doubted our government. I doubted our government after 9/11, but COVID was just the point where I was like, yeah, no, this is so not right. And it's those very same people that shut me down during COVID from selling real estate, saying I was not essential, that are now screaming housing is a human right.
Yeah, if you don't do politics, politics will do you, and that's the thing. A lot of people feel like, oh, I don't want to be bothered. One person can't make a difference. Oh, my vote doesn't matter. I'm just one person. All those things that you hear, and if the millions of people that thought that way actually got involved, it would be a different world. We're in the situation that we're in because a lot of people don't care and don't want to be bothered. But in reality, COVID was a perfect example of what happens when you become complacent, not get involved, and just let the government do whatever they feel like doing. You see how horrible it is in the UK. They gave up their guns in 1997. Now thousands of people are being put in jail for Facebook posts. There's no free speech over there. So, the more you just become complacent and allow the government and think the way that you think, just that one, I'm going to repeat that sentence one more time for everybody listening. My one vote doesn't matter. If millions of people who thought and there are millions of people who think that way, if you actually don't think that way, you would make a huge difference. All those millions of people that think that their one vote doesn't matter combined to millions of votes.
But I think that they also know that the people with common sense are just trying to keep the roof over their heads. They're busy working, right? They're busy raising their families. They're busy trying to make ends meet. They don't have the luxury of paying attention so hard. And it's the people that do have the luxury of following every little thing going on in politics that are going out and voting because they have the time and they have, the luxury of it. The people with the common sense seem to be the people that are too busy working and trying to keep their families and their homes together.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that it doesn't take that much time. You have early voting now. You have absentee ballots. You have.
I'm not talking specifically about the voting component. I'm talking about following the politics. But you're right.
Yeah.
There's no excuse to not vote. You have to plan for it. You have to, the early voting is terrific because you can plan, right? If things happen, I have never voted early. Everything's going to change this year because anything can happen on November 4th. I want to make sure that my vote gets in.
Yeah, and I like what you guys said. It's like if you don't do politics, politics will do you. Basically, I was minding my business. I hated politics growing up, just never paid attention until they came from my body. The minute they came from my body, my children's body, to say, we're going to put this in your body, you can't do anything about it, that's when a lion awakened, a beast awakened. And that's really how I got into it. So I like that, I could see that in you, right? That passion that they came for your job, right? It's like this light sparks and you're like, F you, I'm coming for you guys. I'm coming for that seat. And this is the thing, good people, usually good people who just want to hang out with their family and just hang out with their friends, they don't seek power, right? It's always these corrupt scumbags that get into these seats, right? While we're sleeping, while we're hanging out. I'm not like, and this is why good people like yourself need to step in the game and get those seats back from these people, because they have a long plan for us. I mean, you look at the Democrat Party right now, right? There's a socialist takeover happening right now. Okay, and they're being funded, I believe, by the CCP. I believe that they're being funded by the World Economic Forum to come in here, destabilize us. It's all about the Great Reset, and this is what we're up against. Okay, so anyway, I went into a tangent, but I want to say to you, if when you become Brooklyn Borough president, what would be the top 2 things you would love to accomplish?
That's a great question. I never narrowed it down to 2. Um, you know, there was a time where not just Brooklyn, but all of New York felt like family. Like if you were a New Yorker, you were family. I want to bring that feeling of unity back. I think we need it. I think that's the nature of New Yorkers. I think, women, sorry, are very like glue. They're skilled at that. They're skilled at keeping families together, bringing people together. So I want to use that. The fact that I'm a woman, the fact that I am very open minded. I am very diplomatic. It's actually the nature of me, myself, my soul, but also of the work that I've done for the last 20 years. As a real estate agent, I am dealing with people that want opposing goals, right? You have sellers and landlords that want to get the most amount of money, and then you have buyers and tenants that want to pay the least amount of money. And my job for the last 20 years has been bringing those 2 groups of people to a place of okay. Right? At the end of the day, neither party is very happy, but everybody's okay. And so if we could just bring Brooklyn back to a place of okay, I would feel very, very accomplished. So the sense of unity, the sense that we're all going to be okay, that's number 1. And then number 2, gosh, you know what? I want it to be safe again. I think I miss seeing people on their stoops. I miss seeing people connecting on the streets. I miss seeing people taking time to stop and talk to one another. And I feel like a big reason why that's not happening is we just don't feel safe on the street. And so I don't think I can accomplish number 1 without accomplishing number 2. So those 2 things.
Beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, when you mentioned that, I immediately thought of all the block parties being a regular thing, and 4th of July with fireworks before they were banned, and being out on the stoop, like pretty much on any given day, kids playing stickball or football in the streets or hockey or whatever. It still happens, but rarely. It's not like, almost every block it used to be like that and growing up in Brooklyn. But I'll pass it to Rose Angel. Hasn't spoken in a while.
Janine, I really love that vision of bringing people together. I'm tired of that one conversation or that assumed one conversation in New York City. And folks like Janine are helping create and make a difference. And so thank you. I know I'm being aware that Mark needs to transition, but I definitely, as we start winding down this part, is there a message that you would like to share with the community? Remind them where they can get to know more of your campaign and where they can contribute.
Sure. The best place to go, I think, is my website, www.janine4brooklyn.com, spelled out FOR. So www.janine4brooklyn.com. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. I'm pretty active on social media. I answer questions. And we could definitely still use donations, volunteers, all of that. We need support because I am a new candidate running against the incumbent. So, yeah, please help.
Thank you so much. At this time, I'd like to pass it to Mark.
Yeah, we still have about 3 minutes before we need to wrap up the first half. So, but what you were talking about before, you and Kozi talked about existing candidates, and sometimes people go in with good intentions and then they get corrupt as soon as they're in there, or sometimes they just don't realize that they can't accomplish the things that they want to accomplish. I see a lot of candidates that are running for city council or something, and they promise all of these things that the mayor can't even do. And it's like, oh, I'm going to end abortion and I'm going to do that. Like, you're crazy. Like, do you have any idea that you're people run for district leader and they're promising all these, like,
I've actually been criticized for not promising enough. I've actually been criticized and said, people have said, you don't have a plan. You need to pull a page out of the Mamdani playbook. I have been very conscious about my campaign to not overpromise so that I underdeliver. And I think it's really important to listen to what people want before you come up with a plan for them. So people have criticized me. Oh, you don't have a plan. It's very vague. It's very general. Oh, I have a vision. And you better believe I have a lot of ideas to back that vision, but I am not going to be somebody that overpromises, underdelivers, or blatantly lies to people, because I'm sick of that. That's what we've been getting, and I want to be different. And if that means that I lose, oh, so be it.
Yeah, well, what you promised, the community, bringing people together, that's something that the borough president can do. Like you said before, you weren't running for city council. You're not a legislator. You're not proposing any bills as borough president. That's not within your authority. And voters don't understand that you can't make this drastic difference, and you can't make, I would prefer somebody that's honest and explains that rather than somebody who's promising things that they can't get, because then they're in office and they don't do the things that they promise because it's completely impossible for them to do so.
But you're somebody with common sense, and people without common sense do not understand or appreciate that.
Yeah.
They want to be lied to.
Well, common sense is not common when you're a communist, and right now we have a communist running for mayor who obviously lacks common sense. But we got about a minute before we wrap up the first half. Is there anything else that you want to say to the people of Brooklyn, specifically on the Brooklyn Free Speech channel?
Yeah. So one of the things, the whole unity thing, and you were saying you missing people, like there are block parties, but there's really there's a less of a sense of a community than there's ever been. I think aside from the safety issue is our housing issue. And the biggest issue that I see, aside from affordability, is that we are 70% renters and 30% homeowners. And we need to flip that. We need to be 70% homeowners and 30% renters so that we have real housing stability and real community growth. Because when people are coming in for a couple of years and then moving out, not only are they messing our whole electoral system, there's no sense of community. People don't take the time to get to know each other or invest in their neighborhoods block by block, community by community. So that's something that really needs to be addressed. We have to give people the path to homeownership. There are programs in place. It can happen. I don't care where you are in life. We have to focus on keeping people here and being less serving to people that are only intending to stay here for a few years to take the best of our city and then run.
Lease to own is one of my campaign things that I wanted to get implemented when I was running for local offices in South Brooklyn. But we're wrapping up the first half of the show. This will air on Brooklyn Free Speech. So for the Brooklyn Free Speech audience, thank you for joining us. We air every Saturday, 2:30 p.m. on Brooklyn Free Speech. And we'll see you next Saturday with another special guest. And every Saturday, 2:30, and our live streams are Monday at 8 p.m. at Cafecito Break. Check us out live, and we'll see you next time.
So now we can say whatever the beep we want. Let's go.
That's right. Everybody, get off your lazy butt and go vote for Janine Acquafredda. We didn't get Aquafina to sponsor this because they're crappy water, even though the name is very similar. It's owned by a soda company. The pH levels are garbage, but vote for Janine Acquafredda.
Wait, what's the best water to drink? I love Aquafina.
Really? Well, because your name sounds like...
Don't get us started with this conversation.
Oh, no.
What's the best water?
You gotta drink a high pH water. I'm not gonna do free advertising for it, and make sure the water bottle's either glass
in the private chat.
At the bare minimum.
That's a long conversation.
At the bare minimum, do one. I drink core. I mean, I'm drinking it now, but free advertising for that. EPA free or glass, high pH.
Yeah, you don't want to know. Trust me.
Ay, Dios mío. Well, welcome to the bottom half of our show where we dive and talk NYC, noticia, hot topics, election. Um, does anybody want to start with a certain subject? I think I'm getting irritated by the continuous push to get Curtis Lewa to drop out.
Yeah, I mean, he's been saying that he's been offered millions of dollars, and I went on a rant last week and cursed people out, and people still don't seem to get the math. Cuomo by himself, if no Republicans vote for him, he will take some of the Democrat vote and maybe get 20%. That leaves 80% remaining. Okay, so Curtis Lewa can theoretically win with 35 to 40%. You have the independent candidates, you have the conservative candidates. All of those other candidates combined, Eric Adams will still be on the ballot even though he dropped out. And some people don't pay attention to politics, and they might see his name and not even know that he dropped out. He might even get 1% of the vote just even after he said he dropped out. So all those candidates combined will get about 5% of the vote. Okay, so theoretically, Curtis Lewa could win between 35 and 40% of the vote. He could win the entire election. Mamdani will not get 51% of the vote. Okay, so Curtis Lewa 4 years ago got 28% of the vote. And there's been a lot of red pills since then. People have seen that the crime has gone up significantly. They're tired of the crime. Mamdani got 38% of the Democratic primary, which means 62% of Republicans are not communists. Like the very first round of the Democratic primary. Obviously, it went to ranked choice voting and he beat Cuomo. But there are still, more than half of people who are not full-blown communists out of the Democratic Party. So some of those Democrats are going to vote for Cuomo because they don't want a communist. Probably not half, but at least, 30%, 40%. If he gets 20 to 25% of the vote, that could open the door wide for Sliwa, as long as Republicans don't be freaking stupid and vote for Cuomo thinking that he has the better chance. Just let the Democrats split the vote. There's no reason for the Republicans to do so.
Yeah,
It's
we're talking
almost
to
like
you guys. Talking to you Cuomo sexuals out there. Stop it.
Cuomo,
Stop the
don't be a
shenanigans.
Cuomo sexual.
Don't be a
Yeah,
Cuomo
stop this
sexual.
tremendo butcher right now.
Like that. Listen, he already ruined. He ruined the state. You guys forget what he said. He said a million things that were terrible. He literally said, "We're not going to make America great because it was never great to begin with." I mean, the fact that you said that, you shouldn't be running. The fact that you harassed all these women, you shouldn't be running. The fact that you killed
he lost the
grannies.
primary. The
There
fact
you
that he
go.
lost the primary, he shouldn't be running.
Bingo. You lost the primary, so get that out of here. Listen, he killed grannies. He locked us down, and he did it with such a nasty arrogance. Okay, get out of the race, you piece of crap. It should be Mamdani versus Sliwa, and Sliwa should win this. Sliwa should listen. We were at an event a couple of days ago, and it was electrifying. It was Curtis Sliwa. He packed the room. Okay, packed the room by Times Square, and that speech he gave and the way people were reacting to it, that's real New York. That electricity, that you could feel New York in there. Okay, what we have here, those people going for Mamdani, those are not New Yorkers. These are transplants who are destroying the city. Okay, most of them are trust fund freaking babies. They have no idea about politics. They don't even know economics, basic economics. Anyway, I could go on and on and on. We need to bring real New York back. And we need to do that by getting Sliwa back in. But anyway, this is about you. And you also represent that, right? I hear it in your voice. I hear it with the things you're saying. It's a real New Yorker. We need real New Yorkers taken over because what they're doing to New York is heartbreaking.
I'd like to read something that came on my feed this morning. 8 hours ago, Bill Ackman wrote on his feed, "A vote for Curtis Sliwa is a vote for Zoran Mamdani. At Curtis Sliwa, it is time for you to leave this race. We are grateful for all you have done for New York City and your advocacy, but the facts on the ground are clear. Andrew Cuomo can beat Zoran Mamdani in a one-on-one election if you drop out of the race. Every day you wait to leave the race reduces the probability of stopping Mamdani. I know you don't want to hand the city to him. Please step aside now. And you know what? And just like Mark repeating his message last week, I want to repeat part of my message from last week. I will repeat the statement. Sad, shameful, and laughable. The state of our New York City political affairs. Asking folks to support Andrew Cuomo is indeed insane and rooted in fear. We do not yield to a Democratic machine that is destroying our city. Curtis Lewa loves New York and has proven it for almost 50 years. He can win if you show up to vote. So get some cojones, as Scott Lebedo said in his way, and go out to vote. We don't trust Andrew Cuomo. I personally cannot forgive him for the thousands of seniors who died due to the policies he pushed and decisions. And then when we talk about Zoran, he has no budget or job experience. So can we wake up and smell the coffee beans already, New York? And then this is the part that irritates me, and I'm trying to keep my Brooklyn temper in check. But this thing about blaming Curtis if Mamdani wins, and there's absolutely no accountability or reflection of what the Democratic Party leadership and anybody who has colluded with them, any of their little roles in this. That's my favorite thing about living in New York City. Absolutely no accountability, a lot of virtual signaling, and a lot of money disappearing. That's where I land my little plane and double down, triple or quadruple Curtis Lewa for mayor.
Yeah.
Shout out to DVS for reposting the stream. To the Cuomo sexuals out there, Cuomo is smacking fannies and killing grannies. Okay, we don't need that.
Yeah, Bill Ackman. Listen, Bill, step aside. So I guess he's one of the billionaires who possibly tried to pay him off, because Sliwa said they tried to give him $10 million to step aside. And I guess Eric Adams took the money and ran. But
Most
anyway,
likely.
So that's what he probably did. But listen, Bill, Cuomo failed us. How disrespectful, how disgusting for you to tell us to support Cuomo when he did the things he did in this city. Are you out of your mind, Bill? Take that money and shove it up your, you know what?
You have one big pile of crap in Mamdani, and you have a slightly smaller pile of crap in Cuomo. It's not exactly like Cuomo is going to fix the problems of New York City. It's still going to go down to the shitter, worse and worse. We had 12 years of Democrats destroying New York City. Cuomo will just continue that. Mamdani will continue it at a faster pace. But either way, New York City is going to be destroyed. So stop telling us that we need to vote for this pile of shit instead of that pile of shit, because we want somebody that's actually going to fix the problems in New York City, and that's Curtis Lewa. You know, make America safe again. That's number one. He's also, the crime is, they talked about Sliwa 4 years ago. Oh, the Republicans are fear-mongering that crime isn't going to continue if we elect another Democrat. Well, guess what? You elected a Democrat. They elected Eric Adams because he was a former police officer. So some of those Democrats thought, hey, you know what? I want safer streets. I'm going to vote for the former police officer who did absolutely nothing to improve the crime in New York City. We need somebody that's actually going to decrease the crime. He put his own life on the line for decades with the Guardian Angels. He will make New York City safe again. He's going to put in the no-kill shelters. He's got a whole entire plan on his website. So go look into Curtis Lewa, donate to his campaign, volunteer for him. It is literally the last stand of New York City. I said it before in the first half of the program. If you don't do politics, politics will do you. If you stay home on election day, there's nothing you could do about it in December or January. It's all over. New York City will be destroyed with Cuomo or Mamdani. The only choice to actually fix NYC is Curtis Lewa for mayor. So stop being freaking stupid and go and vote for Curtis.
Now,
That's
Janine,
my rant for the day.
back to Janine. Janine, tell us something you want to tell us. What?
So I'll
Anything?
tell you one thing that bothers me about the whole Curtis Lewa thing. Whenever I meet people out canvassing or campaigning, they always say, how many times is this guy going to run? He's only run once before. Where are they getting this misinformation that he's been running for years? No, correction. What he's been doing for decades is advocating for New York City. He's only run once before, which was the last race. But I don't know where people get this information from. Anyway, I'm voting for Curtis.
Just because
Curtis
he's
is
been
one of
around doesn't mean, yeah, go ahead.
Say that again?
Yeah, the people think just because he's been around for a long time that he's been running over and over again. No, he's one time, and we should have elected him 4 years ago. Otherwise, we wouldn't be 4 years worse in the shitter in New York City if we voted for him the first time. Now we get another chance to actually put somebody that's going to fix New York, and people want to screw it up again. So let's not
But
do that
again,
this time.
these are people that are not paying attention or really investigating and doing their homework. They want to be lied to. They hear free, 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 free. And so, Curtis isn't saying that. Curtis, out on the campaign trail, is saying things that he can actually do. It's not as sexy as free, 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 free.
Yeah, well, the problem is, and Kozi mentioned it before, these voters are coming in from all over the country and going to these schools like NYU and Columbia and being indoctrinated by their professors and being convinced that communism is great. This is all destruction by design, and a whole bunch of useful idiots, both elected officials and voters, putting out these, ridiculous fairy tale policies of everything is free and everything is equal and everybody's happy, and it's all bullshit.
Did
So
anybody read the article that just came out a few days ago about who? So Mamdani put out an advertisement calling for people who are not registered to vote in New York City because they're still using mommy and daddy's address. That he made an ad telling them you still have time to register. Did anybody read that article?
no, but I'm not surprised. It's a good strategy for him, but
And it worked.
unfortunately.
Almost 50,000 new registered voters in New York City. So these are people that admitted while being interviewed for this article that they hadn't changed their registration because they have no intention of staying in New York City. These are the people that are voting for Mamdani. These are the people that if he should win, we have to deal with their decisions, right? With their choices, with their vote. And they have no intention of even staying in New York City, which is why they never changed their voter registration prior to this year. Also, the people that they quote, there was one girl, she was in school studying how the brain of a fruit fly works. These are the people that are voting.
That's infuriating.
Apparently, the brain of a fruit fly works better than the communist voters, but continue, Rose Angel.
I mean, for me, I just look at that as privilege. When people are throwing around these little words and they want to be accusatory, well, that's privilege. There's a certain privilege with this. Everyone should just love all the bike lanes that we are putting all over the city. That's privilege thinking. Not everybody has the lifestyle, the job, the time, or the family to be getting up on a Saturday morning and hitting the yoga, then going to the spa and doing little things like that. I live in New York, so obviously you're gonna hear
I love the
the
New York City
bochinche.
sound effects. It's perfect. It adds to the vibe of this show. I mean,
It's
it's
just
real
in
life. It's
case
real
people
in the
were
background.
doubting where we were. Like, this
Yeah,
is rooted in Brooklyn.
that's how unfortunately the city is right now, with police sirens all the time because the crime sucks because people want to vote for idiots.
And there's so much. The streets are dirty. Like, I'm embarrassed to be welcoming people who love New York, and pretty much since COVID, what some of them have told me, and some of them really politely, like, please don't be offended, but I'm really surprised that New York is so dirty. It's so stinky. I see so much garbage. the things are unsightly. I didn't expect to see so much homelessness, especially in certain areas
And putting their
in
butt on the
Manhattan.
pole.
Huh?
Remember the guy who put his butt on the pole, wiping down the poles and on the train? It's
Yeah, I
disgusting.
mean, yeah, when we should offer more toilet paper to some of these politicians who are just giving us nothing but trash. At the same time, to me, the audacity, you have people who say that, like the socialists, this is a bone that irritates me so much, is congestion pricing. Is creating congestion in different parts of residential neighborhoods that are now having to witness more traffic because people are trying to take shortcuts. So of course, oh yeah, everybody in the city that loves the space, loves the room, and loves the less traffic, nothing to see here. But it has definitely taken an impact on city people, on small business. People have seen dips in their sales, especially if they were like a cart vendor. And then, now you have more annoyed residents. And I just have to say, Janine, and anyone who's paying attention to New York City politics, like, there's a reason why so many of us have stopped so much of our lives just to focus on the New York City election. Obviously, not just Curtis Lewa. Please vote common sense candidates like Janine, Acquafredda, who's right in front of you, like Elijah Diaz, like Ramses Frias, Steve Morello. Vote common sense. George Stefan, I can't say his last name. George
You're
S.
muted, Janine. You're muted, Janine.
Well,
I
you
knew
know
I
what
was
I'm.
going to forget that. See, I knew I was going to forget that I was muted. Sarantopoulos.
Thank you, thank you. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like, vote for common sense, and people remember, just because you see an R doesn't mean that the person's a demon, and just because you see a D doesn't mean that the person's a little saint. There are people who are like, oh, that's a community that's more Republicans. I'm gonna switch parties and just pretend that I'm blah blah blah, and it happens on the low. This is why we encourage you, the listener, whoever's tuning in, pay attention to what are their policies, right? There are people who are moderate thinking. I think more of us are more moderate independent thinking. I think it's sad when the mainstream weaponizes all this. And Janine, something that I think I've heard you kind of feel a little bit annoyed by is just how bad the coverage is by local press when it comes to spotlighting candidates. Am I wrong? Did I mishear
You
that?
are
If you could.
okay. You're 100% right on so many things. I just want to backtrack on that. I'm going to get to the media, but you said some really important things. I don't want to let them go. You said you were embarrassed to welcome people here. I cannot tell you how embarrassing it is because I am Brooklyn's biggest fan and I love my city. It has gotten embarrassing defending it and saying we live in the greatest city in the world. We still do. I mean, I'm sorry. Even on our worst day, we're still the greatest city in the world. But it is getting embarrassing. I'm kind of embarrassed that this is the greatest. So that's the first thing. You talked about bike lanes and congestion pricing. Those are two prime examples of our politicians making decisions that negatively impact the people that live and work here in favor of these NGOs, of these billion-dollar tech companies. Those are two prime examples. I'm not going to name names because I've already been warned by attorneys not to name names. But you have got to, as you just said, pay attention to who's running, pay attention to who donates to them. It's very easy. Follow the money website, right? And if they are backed by these political action committees and these NGOs and these nonprofits and all these people, and you also said virtue signaling, right? We want to make the streets safer. Oh, you want to make the streets safer and spend $4 billion with this Vision Zero sidewalk bump daylighting nonsense, but you legalize jaywalking. You want us to be safer, right? They want to do this daylighting thing. They want to remove all the cars from the corners of these intersections, but they put these humongous planters with 6-foot trees in place. You can't even see me over those trees, okay? And then congestion pricing. Well, the MTA just raised the fare. We all knew that was going to happen. There is no less. I drive everywhere. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I have to drive everywhere, okay? I cover 4 out of the 5 boroughs. Impossible for me to do my job without driving. And I'm telling you right now, there's no less congestion, by the way. It's even worse in Brooklyn. Downtown Brooklyn got it the worst, okay? So anybody advocating for congestion pricing could care less about Brooklyn residents, could care less because it hurt us the worst. The only way I could get to Orange County, let's say, without paying a congestion pricing fee is through the Brooklyn Bridge. Everybody is taking the damn Brooklyn Bridge now. So anyway,
it's
media.
all about, go ahead.
And by the way, those same people that push for the congestion pricing are also the same people that want all these protected bike lanes and all this daylighting and all this. They're all in bed together. And they're all doing it under the guise of making us safer and making the environment better. But let me tell you something. I circle for an hour to find parking because they took all my parking spots away from me. That is terrible for the environment, okay? Anyway, we're going to go talk about the media. They refuse to acknowledge I even exist. My opponent, who's a progressive Democrat, whatever that means, right, was on Fox the other day. Fox? I thought that was like my channel. No, they refuse. Nobody's giving me coverage. One newspaper, some BS coverage. But actually, I think it's inappropriate. I think I have cause for a lawsuit, but I don't know. I have to look into that.
Yeah, they're supposed to give equal time to each candidate. They're supposed to reach out to you as well. So if they gave your opponent time, they're supposed to give you the option to be on the program as well. So
maybe we should do a call to action and get everybody to just tweet your name out and just say,
Fox.
Hey, Fox, get her on.
Call out Fox. Call out BK12. Call out New York One. All of these people. Call out all the newspapers.
Was it local Fox 5 or was it? It wasn't Fox News, right? It was local Fox 5.
It was some. What was her name? Hold on, I'll look it up. I don't even know her name. Unpolitical, some BS show at 6:30 at night. I'm sure nobody even watches. But anyway, the point is this. I am a viable candidate in this race. There are 2 people running. And why is it that I am the only person not getting coverage? And all of a sudden, my opponent is all over the news in the newspaper for the first time probably in his entire candidacy.
Because the game is rigged. Let's go.
It's so rigged, and it makes me, it's not just the politicians that can't be trusted. It's the entire electoral process. It's the media. Like, who can you trust?
Yeah, they don't. We've spoken about this before. You don't have a debate scheduled because none of the Republican candidates have debate scheduled other than the mayor race. That's the only one that's required. The city council races, any of the local races, your race, they just don't do it because they realize if they debate a Republican, the Republican is going to sound more intelligent with common sense and win the debate. And they don't want that.
That needs to change. I'm sorry, but if you don't debate, like they should force you to debate. Like you cannot just say I'm not going to debate.
Be eligible for matching funds.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I love that idea.
Quite frankly, I don't think incumbents should get matching funds. It's a waste of the taxpayer dollars. If they're doing their job right, they should be in the news all the time already. They have name recognition. Why are we giving them tens of millions of dollars, or maybe not tens of millions, that might be an exaggeration, but millions of dollars in taxpayer funds? Why are we giving that to incumbents who have the media at their disposal? It's wrong. I'm telling you, the entire campaign, I know too much. I don't like it. I don't want my money spent this way. I simply don't.
Not only that, you know what I thought of matching funds? Because this is the first time I really looked into it, right? Because I'm doing the finance stuff behind the scenes. And this shit is a scam. So basically what's happening is you're forcing every New Yorker to pay for the campaign of everybody you hate and everybody you love. Like basically like right now, like by somebody donating to somebody, right? And then they get matching funds. Guess where that money's coming from? It's coming from me, you, everybody. And now we're paying for Cuomo's freaking candidacy. We're paying for every single person. Mamdani and there should
everybody. Be a cap. I mean, I think Mamdani got $9 million.
There is a cap.
Like everybody get $1 million. If you can't win with $1 million, everybody gets $1 million. If you can't win with $1 million, well, obviously they can't. They don't even know how to. They've never run a
They
business.
can't manage it. They can't manage
They
it.
can't manage money.
This is why I think, and I'm surprised that there isn't a budget 101. I live in New York City, land of the sirens. Because look, I think even New York City is trying to tell us something. These are 911 type times, emergency. Please, like, it's unbelievable the insanity that we're witnessing. And I don't think New Yorkers, because everybody's so busy and they're not really focused, I don't think they really understand just how crucial of times that we're living in. And if people can just pay attention a little bit, what doesn't help, as we need to start winding down the show, what doesn't help is also people, there's a large quantity of people who do not believe in voting, and I understand why. And then there's also people who think that it's a waste of time, or that voting is voting for the master and it's a colonial thing to do. And these are also things that stop people from showing up and supporting local elections.
The local elections are the most important. City council, so important. These are the people that create the laws that affect, and it's a shame because they're playing with our lives with some of this BS legislation that they pass. I have as like my little tagline on Instagram, politics is not a game. It really isn't, but they're treating it like it is. They're playing with our lives and our livelihoods, and it's wrong, and it needs to stop, and everybody needs to wake up. This is the most important election for New Yorkers, I think, in the history of elections. Is it not? At least in our times.
I think so, because the threat is the communist threat. This is the first time we're up against somebody who's literally quoting Marxist books, like seizing the means of production. Like, we've never heard that before, ever. At least they hide it. This guy is straight up. He's telling you that, oh, I think it's a great idea. This is what one of my plans is to take over bodegas and they'll be run by the government. Who the hell thinks that's a great idea? You obviously haven't read history. You haven't been told the stories from people who have suffered communism and people who have fled. Why do you think they flee these countries? Why do you think they flee these countries? Why do you think everybody's dying to come here?
And by the way, nobody's asking for government-run grocery stores. So why is that the plan? Nobody's asking for free buses. We want clean, safe, reliable transportation. Nobody's asking for
I don't want a free bus, because what I imagine is a whole bunch of people getting there before I'm able to get there, and then I can't even board the bus, and then I'm late, or then I'm there on the bus with a whole bunch of stinky human beings. Like, tell me how much of this can go wrong. I mean, I just don't see how this would be I think that this would become a people congestion. Then it's a different sort of congestion.
It's economically, it's stupid because it's not going to work. It's going to put us in so much more debt. It's going to cause more inflation. The thing you guys mentioned, stinky, of course, people are going to just sleep on there. Okay. Third, it's going to cause, it's just stupid. Nothing is free.
And it's not even the worst of his plan.
Yeah, that's one of the worst.
So scary.
He's an idiot. He's an idiot, or he's clever and he's fooling everybody. Either way, communism doesn't work. We need it the hell out of here. That's it. Done. Get this guy out of here.
Never had a job, trust fund baby, he's in his 30s. He can't even bench what high schoolers could do. He's not a real man. He's not even a real boy. He's not even a real person. He's so fake. Like, why can't you see through the fakeness? The government-run grocery stores were tried before in another Democrat city. I forgot which one. I think it was Detroit. I might be wrong. It failed. The free buses, I think, were tried in Chicago or something too. It failed. It's like, you don't have the money for these things, and it's just not going to work out. It's fairy tale politics is what communism is. And Kozi mentioned, why do people like Cuba flee there? It's because communism destroyed their country. It's not even knowing your history. It's knowing current events. Venezuela thought, oh, well, this is Venezuela. It's not going to happen to us. And it happened to them. And the normalcy bias in psychology is, oh, this is America. It's not going to happen here. Well, right now, he's the favorite to win. And we need to change that. And we need to prevent, because if New York falls, it's a huge impact on the country as a whole. It's the financial capital of the world. We can't have a communist destroy New York City. That is the heart of the nation right there. We just can't let it happen. So I think, I don't know, I'm not sure if we're going to switch to final thoughts or if this is our final thoughts, but I'll let you take it away, Cafecito, or
Put him in the garbage. Put him in the garbage.
where he belongs.
Put anything that doesn't serve the people of New York or New Yorkers or the benefit of our beautiful city. Put it in the garbage, like the ratas, like the roaches. I really do believe, and I think I'm going to say this on every show. Maybe I'll make a sticker. Maybe I should start becoming that person that shows up at every city council meeting. Do you guys have budget 101 experience? And I know that it sounds annoying and facetious, but I really think that if people understand the value of money, and especially you're not spending your own money, and it's a sin to be entrusted with such a powerful role and to be mishandling it and to be investing in projects that are, how is it benefiting? How many people does it benefit? Who does it benefit? And is it always benefiting the same human beings? Because, not too long ago, I was in a very uncomfortable situation, and I'm making my wrap out statement just, I was in a very uncomfortable situation, and someone looked at me and was like, people like us who are lighter skinned, we have to be more mindful that other people are not as privileged as you and I. And I started contorting my little face into different Kermit the frog positions. And the person was like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, well, if I'm just measuring my life from the last 10 years, I don't think that my little face, the lightness of my face, has given me any fucking benefit. Any of these circles that I have dedicated my entire life to serving 110%. No, because why? The moment you think different and you question and you are questioning, like, why do they want to inject me so many times? Why are we still taking this COVID booster jab? Why are we still funding these mechanisms that there's clearly enough data that it doesn't work? We live in Looney Tunes, and these candidates, whether it's Cuomo, who did not defend our rights, and he contributed to the disaster we are seeing today. Mayor Adams inherited a lot of this. I think we all kind of knew that there was nothing much he could do, but he didn't help himself either when he could have. And it was a bit too late when he tried to virtue signal. And I think people are tired of that. And Zoran, he just, to me, I don't need, there's nothing about him that communicates trust or that he has the leadership capabilities of leading. He doesn't even know how to speak to people across the aisle, really. Like, you're giving BS questions. I mean, I guess that's what a lot of politicians do, and I think people want more real stuff. So please support people like Janine Acquafredda, who is here with us, and Janine4Brooklyn.com, right? That's the website?
Yep.
Yeah. And Janine, thank you so much for spending this time with us today. I really have enjoyed our conversation, and lots of luck to you.
Having me.
You got it. Kozi?
Yes, everybody, please go support Janine. Go to her website, reach out to her if she needs volunteers, if she needs funds. Get her some money. She can get matching funds. Support her in every way. We need her to get into that position. We need good people getting into these positions, and let's change New York for the better. Please support Janine.
All right. Well, we don't want to choose between one piece of crap or another piece of crap. We want Curtis Lewa for mayor. We want common sense politicians that aren't dodging debates, like Janine, like George, like pretty much vote R or conservative down the line, except for the mayor race. Vote for Curtis Lewa. No matter whether you live in Brooklyn or wherever you're from, vote Republican if you actually want change. We had 12 years of Democrat rule. Almost every single neighborhood, the majority of neighborhoods in all 5 boroughs are Democrats. They're the ones who have been destroying the city. They have been doing it for a very long time. If you're tired of the homelessness, if you're tired of the crime, if you're tired of the bullshit, and you want actual results, you want actual change, it's time to give Republicans a chance. The fake news media wants you to believe that the R stands for racist and Republican. It definitely does not. It is bullshit. It has been bullshit since day one. Stop believing it. There are good people with common sense ideas to actually fix problems who want to help the people of New York, and it's time for you to put them in office. Janine is one of them, and I'll pass it to Janine to close things out.
Well, I just want to thank you for having me. This has been actually a lot of fun. This went so fast. Yeah, I am, like I said, just a regular person trying to make positive change for Brooklyn, for the working people. We need a better Brooklyn, and we need a Brooklyn that actually works for working people. There are 3 sets of people, in my opinion, in Brooklyn: the people that don't have to worry about anything because they're rich, the people that don't have to worry about anything because they get everything for free, and then everybody in the middle. And it's just not sustainable. It's not New York City. It's not who we are. It's not why people come here. It's not how people have succeeded here. And I think what politics really needs is real people. We need to stop with the career politicians. We need to stop with the corruption. We need to stop with the politricks. We need real people with real life experience, be it business experience, be it just on the outside. We need people who are experiencing our government from the outside in office. So please research all of your candidates. I don't care who you vote for Brooklyn Borough President, as long as it's me. Please go to my website, Janine4Brooklyn.com. Find me on social media. I appreciate all of your support, and I really appreciate the time to be here on your channel tonight. It's been fun.
Thank you. And before we close out, mi gente, just a few announcements. Please visit Cafecito Break. We have a website, cafecitobreak.org. You can check out our archives. If you want to become a member, support with a donation, feel free to do so. Check out some of the most recent interviews. We were there when witnessing Scott Lobedo make a powerful New York, real New Yorker, summon the New Yorker speech. Curtis Lewa, who is also a very powerful speaker. You can also check out some of the candidates that are running on this election cycle that we've also interviewed there. And also want to announce that next week we have the legendary Naomi Wolf joining us. She's an author and 7 nonfiction bestsellers. She is also known for her presentation of the Pfizer papers. We will be talking about the New York City election cycle también. So tune in, help us spread the word, help us spread and share this episode. Comment, like, even if you're catching the replay, please tell a friend. Everyone here that you see, we all are wearing different hats, and we all do this because we love New York and we want to help contribute in the ways that we can to make New York and our hometown a better place to live, a safer place to live, a more beautiful place to live. And we cannot do that by ourselves. We really do need all hands on deck. So thank you. Muchas bendiciones to each and every one of you. I love you, and we'll see you next week. Cafecito Break live 8 p.m. Eastern Time Monday with yours truly, Rosangel Pérez, Mark for NY, and Kozi. I'll see you soon. Thank you again, Janine. It's been a pleasure.
Bye, everyone.
Bye now.